Alright, so welcome to the session, and I hope all of you guys are doing good. So let's get started with today's discussion. The agenda for today is to talk about coding agents like Claude Code. There are various different agents available in the market, like Claude Code is there from Anthropic. We have Cursor. Are you guys able to hear me, all of you? Am I audible? Yes, for what? Are you guys able to hear me, all of you? Okay. So the agenda for today is basically talk about Claude Code, which is one of the agents which we have, coding agents. We have a lot of other companies as well available, giving us the agents like Cursor, acquired by Mr. Elon Musk, right? Then we have agents like anti-gravity from Google, and other tools are also available. Claude Code, obviously, OpenAI has Codex and all. Claude Code is obviously quite popular tool, and it is evolving quite extensively. Many companies are using Claude because of the best architecture it has for developing the entire software from the scratch. In this particular session, we are going to talk about what all components we have in Claude Code. And I'll be showing you that in the Claude Code as well. I'm not going to execute any code from my side, but I'll be providing you one end-to-end project where the entire code is ready. And at the same time, all the components are also available. So the main agenda here is to talk about the different components which it has, like hooks, commands, agents, skills, and plugins. Before that, the concept of vibe coding and spec-driven development. Now, vibe coding is basically when I have certain idea and I want to build one quick POC for the same, where we are not considering the proper specifications or we are not considering the proper way of designing the entire solution. Vibe coding is basically, you can say, if I am a non-programmer and I want to quickly have a POC ready for a demonstration purpose, I can go for it. It's not an ideal way of developing the entire solution until and unless you are having the good experience of coding from your side. Because what machine is doing, I should be aware of that, right? That's where the second type of development coming in, which is known as spec-driven development, where we are providing the specifications that this is what we are looking for. These are the features we are looking for. And based on that, I want to build the entire application with my own coding standards, where you're providing all the details step by step, breaking the bigger problem statement into smaller problem statement, and then going ahead and implementing the same one by one, something like more of an agile methodology. Here is the clear-cut difference between both. Vibe coding is an unclear goal. Trying something, break something, hit a roadblock, fix that, more fixes, and overall unpredictable results. However, in the spec-driven development, we will be providing the specification, a clear requirement and acceptance criteria, break down into the steps, define the approach, write clean code that meets the specifications, and obviously design guidelines and coding standards as well. Verify the code with the help of test, which again Claude Code will do. And finally, we will be shipping the entire code. So clear direction, better decisions, fewer bugs, easier changes, and happy users. So that is more of a approach which people are using in this particular current period of time. Small specs will help me to control the entire development. No context decay, because we know that every LLM has its own context window. So if I am asking machine to build something, right, I should be very much sure that I am not crossing the context window, because in that case, it is going to be a problem. It is going to give me the outcome which is what we are not expecting. It may start hallucinating and building something which we are not expecting. And intent, fidelity, define the problem, success criteria, constraints, and user follow-ups. Front makes the output match your goal. So basically at the end, the outcome which we are going to get will be pretty much as per our own lines. Spec-driven development is basically I am giving the entire specification in the document human language. I will be passing it in the agent, the coding agent, that is Claude Code. And later on, we will be going ahead and getting the entire source code. Now, what is the difference between an agent, or I can say what we have to give to the agent and what we have to leave, and we don't have to worry about it. So the idea here is we have to provide the entire goal. We have to provide the target audience, the scope. We have to provide the constraints and success criteria. And we have to provide the tech stack and conventions. These are the things which we have to provide to the agent, that what I'm looking for, what constraints we have, and what technology we have to use in this entire development. For example, let's say I'm building a bank system. So I want, let's say, Python as a backend, and front end should be React and Next.js. So I'll be providing that, plus the constraint that I want as of now just the dashboard. I want the deposit page. I want the withdraw page. I want the print statement page, something like that. So that information I'll be providing to the agent. What agent will take care of? It will take care of the low level implementation. I will not do everything and provide everything to the machine, that I want to write this line, I want to write that line, because if I am doing that, it's better to write the code from our side. Then what is the use of AI agent? We will just provide the overall picture. We can provide the coding standards, and then we can ask machine only to build the entire application. So low level implementation choices will be already selected by the Claude AI only. We will be not touching upon that. Boilerplate code and wiring, all those things will be done by the agent only. Routine decisions and file layout, all those things again will be done by the machine only. If you have any specific requirements, you can provide that, but you will not be going to do the low level design. Machine will take care of that. We will not tell the architect that how to hold the hammer, right? They are aware of it. They have their own skills. They will take care of that. Same way, we will be not providing the entire details. Machine will take care of that. Your task will be to validate the code which was created by the machine. That's why people are now saying that machine can generate 1,000 lines of code. The main task for the developer is to review that code. And that's where the interview also changes. In interview, what happens is that these days, people will generate the code with the help of AI, and then interviewer will ask question on those code created by the machine to you guys, that what is this code and how can we fix it, right? All those things people are now asking in the interview. So understanding of program is now very, very superb, right? Very, very powerful. If you are very much powerful in the coding, in that case, you will be going to select, because machine is now generating the code and your task is to validate and fix it, or come up with your own, what do you say, the optimized way of coding, right? Now, next is the main, as I mentioned, we are going to discuss about the different components of Claude Code. So the first and the important component which we have is known as CLAUDE.md file. Let me open the Visual Studio Code. So here you can see that, as I mentioned, I have created the entire architecture here. I will be discussing the entire architecture, that is Claude.md and .claude folder. These are the things which you should be putting in your entire implementation while you are building using Claude Code. So CLAUDE.md is basically a Bible, right? So this file will provide Claude Code about the entire project, the project overview, what all tools and technologies you are going to use, the entire architecture. So everything will be present in this particular file. Key business rules, development workflow, Claude Code harness, and testing criteria. So basically, Claude.md is a constitution or a Bible which is going to run every time. So here I'll show you the picture as well. Let me first go there. Yeah, here you can see Claude.md, read every session, the constitution made real, one file Claude reads on every session, standing rules for the whole project. For example, tech stack, coding standards, database naming, single source of truth, and so on. BRD and all, everything will be present here. Reload in every session. Your house convention points to BRD. So Claude.md is the project memory which contains rule style context. Claude reads it first every time. Your context, standing rules, conventions, and project context, right? So this is like a Bible which Claude Code always going to read. Now, what is the difference between chatbot and coding agent? Chatbot only responds to your prompts, no access to your code base, can't run your tools, talks about the code. But I don't want that. What I want is I want the execution. I want go to my folder, do some task there. So that's where coding agent coming in, takes a prompt, makes a plan, reasons its why to a result, reads your code base and files, runs your dev tools. So it executes the things, right? So this is the chatbot where it is going to just give me the response. But in the coding agent, it is actually going to do the task for you. In your file systems, make the changes, edit the changes, delete the changes. All those things can be done with the help of coding agent. This is the application which I have built. So basically creating the ticket flow. But as of now, we are not discussing that. I wanted to discuss more of a components which we have in the Claude. Normally what happens, we get the BRD, we get the business requirement document. Let me show you that if I have it. So here you can see in the docs, you have this BRD. So we have the entire details, executive summary, business objectives, what are in scope, what are out of scope, who are the stakeholders, what are the assumptions we have, the functional requirement, right? So all the requirement has a tag number, FR auth 01, FR auth 02, what it means, what requirement it is. Same way for the dashboard as well, dashboard creation. Create ticket page has the steps, right? Then status, workflow, and activity history. ticket list, search and filters, reports and export, Gen AI chat assistant, demo data seeding, some of the non-functional requirement, data model level. These will be the tables available in the MySQL. What will be the primary key, foreign key, business rules, right? Roles and permissions, what technology stack I want to use, how the UI and UX design will be. I want green color, purple color, pink color, and so on. Layout and topography, chat assistant, and all success criterias, risk and mitigation. So entire thing coming in this document. From this document, I have created the BRD as a MD file, markdown file. So all this information is present in this particular MD file, the entire BRD. You can see this here. We are using MD file quite extensively. If you see this, I told you, right? CLAUDE.md. So why we are using MD file? Because your LLMs are very well trained on MD file, because it has gone through the internet and read all the GitHub repositories and all. And in the GitHub repositories and all, there are a lot of MD files are there. So for coding perspective, MD files is what people are using quite extensively, because machine understands it very well. So that's why we'll see that if you are using Claude Co-work or something like that, you will be seeing that skills concept is there. And the concept is basically all driven through MD file. So that's why I have converted my entire BRD in the MD file. Everything is the same, right? All the auth and everything. So this will be given to my LLM. In my Claude.md, there will be written somewhere. If you look for BRD, I must have given the BRD path. Here you can see BRD ticket flow.md. I'll share this entire zip file with the support team. They will provide it to you. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that is the core idea. So let me go back to the PPT. So basically, from BRD, I will be first generating the specifications. Right? Specification will be what? For every feature, right? For dashboard, there will be one specification. For create ticket page, there will be one specification. For maybe chatbot, there will be one specification, and so on and so forth. So we'll have the specification, and for every specification, implementation will happen. And from that implementation, I will verify. Verify is the testing part. MD file does not have any predefined something. You can provide the details. You can ask Claude only to generate the MD file for you. Claude.md, right? By providing the BRD and coding standards, you can ask machine that generate the Claude.md for me. There is no standard format. Just a text file with MD as extension. So here you can see we have the BRD coming in. Specification we have given. Based on that, your code will generate the code, and then verification will happen. Now let's come to the different aspects of Claude Code. There are different components available. These are the 5 major components of Claude Code we have. One is commands. Second is hooks. Third is agents. Fourth is skills. And fifth is plugins. So let's talk about each one by one. These are the different components we have, right? Claude.md file, my Bible, BRD, the hooks, the subagents, the skills, the plugins, and one command is also there, right? Now let's talk about the commands. Commands are basically nothing but it's a reusable prompt, you can say. A command is a saved prompt stored as a markdown file. So if you go back to my Claude Code, here you can see that we have a command available, implement.md, seeddata.md, spec.md, and verify.md. So these are my commands. It is a prompt. It's a saved prompt. And as it's a saved prompt, I can very well call these prompts when I want. So basically here I'm opening the Claude code. And here I'll say /implement. You can see here implement coming in. Obviously I'll stop that because I don't want to implement anything. But /implement coming in, that is the command which we have. So commands are basically a reusable prompt which you created. And it is reusable because I want to implement step by step. First, I want to implement the dashboard. Second, I want to implement the login page. Third, I want to implement the create ticket page. Fourth, I want to implement the chatbot and so on. So I'm going to use it again and again. So commands are basically a reusable prompt, which I can call when I want, right? That is what mentioned here. So command is a saved prompt stored as a markdown file. You invoke it by typing /name. It only runs when you ask for it. It is saved in the .claude/commands folder / the file. So here you can see we have a .claude folder. It has a commands folder. Inside that we have the files available. Second is skills. I'll come to skills first, then I'll come to other things. Skills is actually same as commands. Skills is actually same as commands. You can see the folder here now, we have skills. It is also a prompt, reusable prompt. But what is the difference between skills and commands? The only difference is that commands is only driven by me as a user. Skills will be driven by me plus Claude Code. If Claude Code thinks that I need this skill, it will execute that skill. So basically, Claude Code has a capability to run the skill as well. Claude Code will not run the commands. That is the only difference we have. A skill is a reusable capability Claude can apply on its own when the task matches and trigger with /name too. So I can run it from my side as well. Or if Claude Code thinks that this skill is important for me to execute now, it will execute that, right? That is the only difference we have. That's why I came to skills first so that you can compare side by side. So runs only when you type it, a macro you control. Claude applies it automatically when relevant, and you can also execute. Okay. Next is hooks. Now we know that our LLMs are pretty much, what do you say? Probabilistic in nature. Command is equal to read only? No. Command is executed by me only, not by Claude Code. Claude Code will not read also. Skill is executed by me as well as your Claude Code as well. Right. Now we know that hooks are basically nothing but, LLMs are basically nothing but it's more of a probabilistic in nature. You must have experienced that as well. For example, if you are asking ChatGPT or Claude or any other AI tool for doing certain task, sometimes you see that some of the steps it is ignored by the Claude or ignored by the ChatGPT, right? Because it is probabilistic in nature, sometimes it skips that. So how will I take care of that? By having the hooks. Hooks are basically nothing but it is making your entire solution deterministic. For example, suppose I am saying I want to drop this database. Now Claude will drop it. But what I want is I don't want it to drop. So I will be applying the pre-tool use hooks. There are two types of hooks available. One is pre-tool and second is post-tool. So suppose I am saying that I want to drop the database, it will first hit the hook. So in that case, what will happen? It will go ahead and hit the pre-tool hook and checks whether the drop command is having access or not. So I'll be having block destructive.py file, which I've added in this particular code as well. So if you go to the hooks and see block destructive, so here I have clearly mentioned that you cannot run all these things. Right? To answer you, Hiral, right? What should we use command or skill if we want to do something to check every time before it generates the code? So this is the step you can go for. That is hooks. I want to check every time what user is asking for. User is saying, I want to drop the database. I cannot do that. So it will go and hit the pre-tool hook and check this particular function, what all things are allowed. Drop is not allowed. It will stop that at that time only, right? So it will never drop my database because whenever user is passing the prompt, it will come to the pre-tool hook and go ahead and checks whether it is actually executable or not. If it is not, I cannot do that. If it is, go ahead and do that. How will I decide whether it's a pre-tool use hook? If you see here, there is a settings.json file, which is a part of .claude folder only. Let me minimize this. Settings.json. Here I am mentioning hooks, pre-tool. These are my pre-tool hooks. These are my post-tool hooks. Right. So you have to provide then settings.json that which hooks you have and what type of hooks they are. This is you have to maintain. So pre-tool hooks is basically when user pass something, it will execute and check if things are fine or not, proceed further. Post tool is basically once the entire coding completed. After that, I want to format the code. I want to test the code. I can have it as a post tool use hook. Hooks will be a Python file or a bash file because these are the commands which I want to execute or not execute. It will not be an MD file, right? It is like a steps which I have to perform or not perform. So that will be a Python file or bash file. If you want to go for bash file also, that is fine, right? It cannot be a MD files because there are actions which I have to perform, right? It will check this entire patterns and based on that gives the output. So that is about the hooks. So pre-tool and post-tool. So here you can see it automatically triggers. That will make your LLM more of a deterministic. I know that this will run. This has to run, right? I cannot drop my database. If user is trying to do that, stop it. So that's where hooks comes into picture. Next is agents. Now, this is also very interesting concept which we have. We know that every LLM has its own context window. Let's say 10 million as a context window. Let's assume that for now. So my main agent will be there. My main agent, you can see this picture out here. So I have a main agent here. This main agent will have 10 million as a context window. And I don't want to mess it up, right? I want this context window to be clean. No junk, nothing else, right? So basically what I am doing is I am initiating 3 more agents. I am initiating 3 more agents. Those are sub-agents. So main agent will delegate the task to the sub-agent. These are the tasks, let's say we have get the schema ready, build the query, do the all test cases execution. These are the things. So these are my three sub agents. Suppose my agent is saying that go and do the testing. So this sub agent will trigger. This sub agent will do the testing in its own context window. So this guy will have 10 million of context window. This guy will have 10 million of context window. This guy will have 10 millions of context window. And this guy will also have 10 million of context window. So this guy will use its own context window and do the task and pass it the result only to this guy. So this guy's context window will not populate fastly, right? And this guy's context window will not be very much cluttered as well, not have any junk information. All the testing information, everything will be present with this guy only. This guy is only sending the response, right? That is what mentioned here. It will spin up and delegate the task. It has its own fresh context window. It will do all the tasks and returns only the result. So as it is returning only the result, not the intermediate steps, automatically this context window will be very much stays focused. It will never fills up quickly and only the important things will be there, not the sub agent nodes. All those junks I don't want. So your main agent's context window will be very much clean, right? So that is the purpose we have. So this guy's context window will not quickly fill up. So that is the sub agent we have. So here you can see that in my code as well. I have the agents with me. I have three agents. One is security auditor MD, spec reviewer MD, and test writer MD. So as it is present in the agents folder, automatically it will be triggered when it is asked for it. Okay. And last is the plugins. Suppose let's say you build the entire coding agent with, so these are what? These are my company's standards, right? I want my agent to be security auditor agent, spec reviewer agent, test writer agent. I want this in every project, not only in this project. I want that in the next project also, in the future project also. In every project, I want these agents. In every project, I want these commands. In every project, I want these hooks. In every project, I want these skills. In every project, I want this settings.json file. In every project, I want this CLAUDE.md file. Only I need to change this BRD. So I want to create it as a package so that in the next project also I can very well use it with some modifications I can do later on. But I need minimum of this thing. Later on, I can go ahead and I can make the changes. That's fine. But minimum of this I want in every project. So I will be storing this as a package. And that package is known as plugins. Right? So plugins are basically nothing but a shareable bundle that is having commands, hooks, agents, and skills. So plugin packages your commands, hooks, agents, and skill into one installable unit, reusable across projects and teams with a single /plugin install. Right. So this is my plugin, which is a combination of all these things. Now there are some of the commands which you can run as well in the Claude. For example, /clear. So suppose let's say my context window is populated. I want to clear it, right? Let's say my first implementation is done. I want to start my next implementation. Before that, I can just run the /clear. It is going to clear my entire conversation. So all my context window will be cleared. Second is if I don't want to clear it, I want some of the information from the previous chats as well. So I can summarize that. For that, there is a command called /compact. So here I will say compact. So this will summarize my entire previous chats. Okay. So that is about the different components which we have. So whenever you are building any new project, let's say we are building a new project out here. The first thing which I have to do is I have to create one .claude folder. And in this .claude folder, I will be adding the folders like agents, right? I will be adding the folders like commands. I will be adding the folders like skills. I will be adding the folders like hooks. I'll be adding the folders like your settings.json file, right? So you have to create all those files. And obviously CLAUDE.md. Plus, if you are having the BRD as well, for example, let's say I'm taking the same BRD. Let's say I'm taking this BRD, okay, putting it here. So BRD is with me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm initializing my Claude code and I will start telling my machine that this is the BRD I have. Go ahead and give me the ideas, what all agents I should be having, what all commands I should be having, what all hooks I should be having, what all skills I should be having, and populate all those things plus Claude.md. The initial file will be created by the Claude itself. Then we can modify later on. Right. So let's go for it. I have this BRD. I want to set up my Claude code like agents, commands, skills, hooks, settings.json, and claude.md. Give me the idea first before we finalize these. If you are having the idea with you, you can build entire MD files and all from your side. If you are blank, you are not sure, ask Claude first, what all things can be my agents, what all things can be my hooks, and so on. And then after that, you decide, okay, these things are looking fine. Let's build it. Okay. So you can see that it's reading. You can use the slash init also. That's fine. Slash init will initialize all these files automatically, right? But I prefer to get the ideas from the Claude, and later on I will modify those files as per my requirement. I get the basic skeleton, and that's it. So here you can see that it is coming up with the ideas. What about security? Again, the idea is if you are having Claude Code in your organization IT team and Claude Anthropic team, they have the tie-up. They properly set up the entire Claude Code in your organization with security concerns taken care, right? So if you know more about the security and all, you can check with your IT team that how the security is handled. But basically the idea is that if the company is using Claude Code or any of the LLMs, security part is taken care by your inbuilt IT team with that, right? 3BRD name only and so on. So here you can see that. So here you can see this entire thing coming in. So you can read it now that what all I read through the BRD and so on. CLAUDE.md, project convention, specs, subagents. I want these subagents, spec reviewer, test writer, security auditor. slash command, spec implement verify, skills, hooks, drop table and all, setting JSON, plugin. So I'll say proceed. So I was okay with this entire architecture. I am okay and I'm proceeding it. It will generate all the files for me. Claude.md, it will populate the details. Then I will quickly verify from my side. I will not be dependent on the entire thing with AI. I will create a basic skeleton, the first skeleton. Later on, I will be going ahead and I will be checking it out, right? First part will be generated by AI, but everything I will be checking manually, right? If I am checking with AI, then there is no point. The first part you can see here, you can see the hooks coming in. So I have to check it from my side. It created the bash command. So here you can see the entire hooks coming in. Claude.md is also, I think it's populating for now. So this is my post tool use hook. So once it will create all these files, we will quickly check it out from our side. Settings.json coming in. Here you can see pre-tool use hook. So once this entire folder will be set up, after that, what needs to be done? My development will start, right? It's writing the Claude.md now. So here you can see all the steps, right? Write Claude.md, write specs, write 3 subagents, write 3 slash commands, write 3 skills. So here is my entire Claude.md coming in based on my BRD. So I have to read it all from my side. For example, in this, I can see that in the Claude.md, it did not mention about the BRD location. I think it's not there. So I will provide it. Okay, it's there, right? It's there. cbrd.md. So that is fine. Yeah, in existing project, also same thing. You can create the Claude file. You can ask Claude, go through the entire code and build these things for me. Claude will read all of your project files and based on that, understand the entire, what do you say, what all things already implemented, what all things are pending. Accordingly, it will generate the files. So agents are pending as of now. Specs. You can see these are the specifications. Authentication specifications is coming from your Claude file, your BRD file, right? I want to do the authentication So here you can see auth01, auth02. I have shown you in the BRD, if you remember. This auth01, auth02, dashboard01, dashboard02. So all the specifications are created. Auth, chat assistant, dashboard, reports, seed data, status workflow, ticket list, tickets. So I will keep running it one by one, all the specification, implement it, verify it, and it's like an iterative process. So agents are also now getting created. So my entire development, like what all files I require for my development, right, is now available. And it's time for me to start the development only. The only thing is that you have to go through each of the things and check it out whether things are fine or not, right? Whether authentication is clear or not, actually providing all the details from BRD or not, right? You have to check it out. That is your task. Now it is building the slash command, last part of it, and 3 skills are pending. So here you can say implement.md. So I have to provide the feature name slash implement feature name, right? For example, I want to start authentication. So I will say slash implement auth. It will start building the authentication. Now it is writing the skills. Skill.md. It is not free. Minimum of $20 you have to spend for Claude Code, right? You can connect Claude Code with the open source models as well if you want to. If you don't want to pay anything, I am using the Anthropic models only. That's why I'm paying $100. I am using the higher version. So all the files are now ready. All done. Now, if I want to start implementing, I will say slash implement space auth. Press enter. It will start implementing the authentication part. Once that is done, I will say slash verify. You see this verify option? So slash verify authentication. Once my authentication is completed, I will say verify authentication. Okay. So that is the idea. So you can see how quickly it created the entire files and my development time is now started. I can develop this entire thing step by step and my entire application will be ready. I'm using as of now Opus, I guess. You can check it out here by clicking here. You can choose model from here. I think by default it takes Opus only. Yeah, Opus. Okay. So this is what I wanted to cover. I hope you guys got what I wanted to discuss here. I'll be sharing this zip file with the support team. They will share it with you guys. The entire recording for this session will be available in the YouTube channel as well. You can go and you can check it out. And yeah, this is what I wanted to cover. Any doubts, any queries, let me know. Is I'll share the zip file. Yes, it is mandatory to create all the folder structure which I have shown you. .claude, agents, commands, all those things are mandatory. All right. All right, guys. So we'll see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Have a nice day.